Your dog has been talking to you every single day. Not barking, not whining, not doing anything that makes noise or demands your attention in a way you cannot ignore. Deliberately, consistently, with a clarity and an intention that behavioral scientists have spent decades documenting, and that most dog owners will go their entire lives without ever fully understanding. And here is the part that matters. They have not been talking to everyone. They have been talking to you, specifically. Because you are the one they chose. You are the one their biology decided was worth the effort of communication. And every single day, in 3 specific and unmistakable ways, they have been sending you messages that you have almost certainly been walking past without knowing what you were missing. This video is about those 3 signs. Not because they are obscure or complicated, but because once you understand what they actually mean, what is happening inside your dog when they do each one, what they are trying to tell you, what they need from you in response, you will never be able to look at your dog the same way again. And more importantly, you will finally be able to answer. Welcome to. If you want to truly understand what your dog is saying to you every day, subscribe right now. Let's get into it. Before we go into the 3 signs, you need to understand something fundamental about how dogs communicate, because it is the key that unlocks everything else. Dogs do not have language the way humans have language. They cannot string words together. They cannot explain themselves. They cannot tell you what they need in any form that resembles the way people tell each other things. But they are not silent. Dogs communicate through their entire body. Every part of them, their eyes, their ears, their tail, their posture, their breathing, the way they position themselves in a room, the way they orient toward or away from you, is constantly transmitting information, constantly broadcasting their emotional state, their needs, their intentions, their relationship with you. The problem is not that your dog is not talking. The problem is that no one taught you how to listen. Think about what it would feel like to speak a language no one around you understands, to say something important and watch the person you are saying it to look straight through you, nod vaguely, and go back to what they were doing. To say it again and again, with more urgency, with more clarity, with everything your body and your voice can give to the effort of being understood. That is your dog. Every day. Research from the University of Lincoln found that dogs living with owners who demonstrate higher levels of behavioral awareness, owners who have learned to read canine body language, show measurably lower baseline cortisol levels, stronger immune function, and significantly higher scores on all measures of well-being than dogs whose owners have low behavioral awareness. The simple act of being understood, of having your communication received and responded to, is so significant to a dog's nervous system that it shows up in their biology. It shows up in their stress hormones. It shows up in their health. Your dog is not just trying to talk to you because communication would be nice. They are trying to talk to you because being heard is something their nervous system needs to function well. Here are the 3 major signs. Sign 1. They make and hold eye contact with you at random moments throughout the day. Not staring. Not the hard, fixed gaze of a dog that is tense or anxious or issuing a challenge. Something softer than that. Something more deliberate. You are sitting at your desk or on the couch or standing in the kitchen and you look up and your dog is looking at you. Not asking for food. Not asking for a walk. Not reacting to a sound or a movement. Just looking at you with an expression that is steady and soft and somehow more focused than their usual resting gaze. And then they look away. Or you look away. And the moment passes and you go back to whatever you were doing. Most owners experience this dozens of times a week and register it as nothing more than their dog being their dog. But here is what is actually happening. That spontaneous, unhurried, softly held eye contact is one of the most sophisticated forms of social communication your dog is capable of. It is called referential gazing, the deliberate use of the gaze as a communicative tool directed at a specific individual to convey a specific message. And it is a behavior that, according to research published in the journal Current Biology, is unique among non-human animals to domestic dogs. Read that again. Of every animal on Earth, dogs are the only non-human species that has developed the use of the deliberate social gaze as a primary communication tool with humans. Wolves do not do this. Chimpanzees do not do this. No other domesticated animal does this. Dogs evolved it specifically, over 15,000 years of living alongside humans, because it worked. Because the humans who understood it bonded more deeply with their dogs. Because the dogs who used it got their needs met. Because this specific form of communication, the quiet, deliberate, meaningful look, became the foundation of one of the most extraordinary inter-species relationships in the history of life on Earth, and your dog has been using it with you. Every day. Multiple times a day, trying to tell you something. What are they trying to tell you? Several things, depending on context, but the most common message behind the spontaneous mid-day gaze, the one that happens when nothing else is going on, when there is no obvious prompt or trigger, is something that researchers have described as a social check-in. Your dog is not asking for anything specific in that moment. They are doing something more fundamental. They are making sure you are still there. They are confirming the connection. They are saying in the only language they have, in the most direct way their body knows how to say it, that you matter to them and they want you to know it. A study from Azabu University found that during these spontaneous gazing moments, oxytocin levels rise in both the dog and the owner, not just in the dog. In both. The gaze loop, dog looks at owner looks softly back, triggers the same bonding neurochemistry that a mother and newborn experience during eye contact, in both directions. Simultaneously, your dog looks at you and something in both of you changes at the biochemical level. Here is what to do with this. The next time your dog catches your eye in that quiet, deliberate, unhurried way, do not look away immediately. Do not go back to your phone or your screen or your thought. Hold the gaze for a moment. Let your face be soft. Let your eyes be warm. Let them see that you received what they sent. 5 seconds. That is all. 5 seconds of genuine, present reciprocal eye contact. What you will notice is that your dog holds it slightly longer when you hold it back. That their body softens a little. That there is something in the moment that feels like a conversation completing itself. Because that is exactly what it is, they asked. You answered. The communication happened. That is not a small thing. That is the foundation that everything else in your relationship is built on. Sign 2. They bring their body to you without asking for anything. Not nudging your hand for a pet. Not pawing at you for attention. Not bringing a toy or making any kind of active request. Simply arriving, quietly, in your space. Pressing their flank against your leg while you stand at the counter. Settling their weight against your feet while you work at your desk. Lying down with just enough contact, a paw touching your ankle, a head resting near your hand. That you can feel them without either of you having to do anything about it. This is the most common form of communication in your dog's entire repertoire, and it is the one most consistently misread as simply affectionate habit. It is not habit. It is language. In canine behavioral science, this behavior is called affiliative contact, deliberate physical proximity initiated by the dog without any expectation of a specific response. And what distinguishes it from casual proximity is the intentionality. Your dog is not ending up near you by accident. They are not simply gravitating toward warmth or comfort. They are choosing you. They are placing their body in contact with yours as a deliberate communicative act. The message is multi-layered. At the simplest level, it says, I want to be near you. But underneath that, at the level where the biology lives, it is saying something more specific. It is saying you are my safe place. Your presence regulates my nervous system. I feel better when I am touching you than when I am not, and I am choosing this contact because it tells my body that everything is okay. Research into canine attachment behavior has found that affiliative contact, this quiet, unprompted, non-demanding physical closeness, is one of the strongest behavioral indicators of secure attachment in domestic dogs, more reliable than tail wagging, more consistent than vocalization, more universal than almost any other single behavior. The dogs who do it most are the dogs with the deepest, most securely formed bonds to their humans. But there is a second layer to this communication that most owners never think about. When your dog brings their body to you without asking for anything, they are also giving you something. They are offering their own nervous system as a regulating presence for yours. Research from the Human-Animal Bond Research Institute has found that the passive physical presence of a bonded dog, just their body in contact with yours, no interaction required, produces measurable reductions in human cortisol, heart rate, and blood pressure within minutes. Your dog is not just seeking regulation from you. They are offering it to you. They have no way of knowing that you had a hard day. They cannot read your calendar or your emails or the tension in your shoulders from 3 hours of sitting at a desk. What they can read is your scent, your breathing, the quality of your stillness or restlessness, the micro signals your body sends that you do not even know you are sending. And when those signals say something is off, when their incredibly sensitive nervous system picks up the chemistry of your stress, they come closer, they press against you. They stay, because in the only way they know how, they are trying to help. Here is what to do with this. When your dog brings their body to yours without asking for anything, receive it. Do not shift away. Do not redirect them. Do not get up. Put your hand on them, even lightly, even briefly. Acknowledge the contact, because when you do, you complete the circuit. You confirm that the communication landed. You tell their nervous system what it came to hear. You are here. I feel you. We are connected. And in that moment, in the warmth of contact between your body and theirs, something happens that no appointment or task or notification can replicate. You are taken care of by a creature who cannot say the words but has never stopped trying to show you. Sign 3. They change their behavior when your emotional state changes. This is the one that stops people cold when they finally understand it. Your dog knows how you feel, not in a vague, intuitive way, not in the way people sometimes say animals sense things as if it were something magical or mysterious. In a precise, documented, neurologically grounded way that researchers have been studying for years and that the evidence now supports beyond any reasonable doubt. Dogs can read human emotional states through a combination of signals so detailed and so rapid that it functions, from the outside, like something close to mind reading. They read your face. Research from the University of Helsinki confirmed that dogs process human facial expressions in the same hemisphere of the brain that humans use to process emotional information. And they do it in milliseconds, faster than conscious thought. They read your scent. A study from the University of Naples found that dogs can detect the specific chemical signature of human stress, the particular combination of compounds that human sweat produces under psychological pressure, and distinguish it from the scent of calm with accuracy exceeding 90%. They read your voice. The tone, the pace, the quality of your breathing between words. They read things in your voice that you do not know you are putting there. And then they respond. Not randomly, not reflexively, with a specificity and a consistency that researchers can now document and predict. When you are anxious, your dog becomes more vigilant. They position themselves between you and whatever you are facing. They make themselves more physically present. They increase their monitoring of your face. When you are sad, they come closer. They initiate more affiliative contact. They are quieter, less demanding, more simply present in the way that presence feels like comfort. When you are happy, they match your energy. Their own oxytocin rises in response to your emotional state. Joy in the right relationship is genuinely contagious between a human and their dog. Research published in the journal Scientific Reports found that dogs not only recognize human emotional states, but actively adjust their behavior in response to them in ways that are prosocial, meaning the adjustments are oriented toward the human's benefit, not just the dog's own comfort. They are not just responding to your emotions. They are responding to them on your behalf. That is not instinct in the simple sense. That is something closer to empathy. A study from Goldsmiths University in London found that dogs approach and make physical contact with humans who are crying or showing signs of distress significantly more often than they approach humans who are calm or happy. They approach strangers in distress, not just their own owners. The response is not learned. It is not trained. It is a deep biological, cross-species capacity for recognizing suffering and moving toward it. Your dog has been reading you and responding to you every single day. Every bad day you did not talk about. Every worry you carried alone. Every moment when you were sitting with something hard and your dog came and settled against you or looked at you with those steady, soft eyes. They knew. They have always known. And every time they came to you in those moments, every approach, every soft look, every quiet press of a warm body against yours, that was not coincidence. That was communication. The most important kind. The kind that says, I see that you are carrying something. I cannot take it from you, but I am not going to let you carry it alone. Here is what to do with this. Start paying attention to when your dog changes their behavior in response to yours. Notice the moments they come closer when you are stressed. Notice the quieter energy they bring when you are sad. Notice the way they track your face more carefully on the days when something is off. And then let them help. Do not push them away. Do not redirect them. Do not tell yourself you are fine and get up, stay. Receive what they are offering. Because what they are offering is real. It is documented, it is biological, and it is yours, freely, from an animal that has been trying to give it to you since the day they decided you were their person. These three signs, the gaze, the contact, the emotional response, are not separate behaviors. They are three expressions of the same thing. They are your dog telling you, in the only language they have, that you are seen, that you matter, that they are paying attention, that they are here, fully here, in a way that most humans are only capable of for moments at a time. Your dog is doing it all day, every day, for the rest of their life. A study from ERTV's Lower End University found that dogs who live with owners who actively engage with their communication signals, who respond to the gaze, who receive the contact, who acknowledge the emotional attunement, show significantly stronger attachment security, lower lifetime stress, and measurably longer healthy lifespans than dogs whose communication is consistently overlooked. The science is saying something remarkable. Hearing your dog makes them healthier. Responding to them makes them live longer. Being present to what they are trying to tell you is one of the most important things you will ever do for them. They have been talking to you this whole time. 3 signs, every day. Clear as anything. If you know how to look, stop ignoring this. Start listening. And if this video changed the way you hear your dog, that is exactly what is here for. Subscribe right now and share this with someone who loves their dog. Because every dog deserves an owner who knows how to receive what they have been trying to say. They chose you to talk to. Out of every person in the world, out of every option their life contains, they chose you as the one worth talking to. Make sure you are listening.